like doing things with you.
What's up, y'all? I'm Nevo Lape, and this is my wife,
Ria.
and we're back with another vlog. And right now we want to stay on the topic of arguments in a relationship or a marriage, because that's the main thing in a relationship, is the communication, and arguments can break that communication within a relationship. So elaborate, babe. From a woman's point of view, what do you think?
I think aside from what we mentioned in the first video about writing, you want to understand, like, when you're getting into an argument, like, sometimes it is preventable. Like, you don't always have to indulge into an argument.
Correct.
So you should choose your battles. Choose what argument you want to indulge in. Is it even worth turning it into an argument? He can be feeling upset, and I know if I indulge in that moment's conversation or whatever the issue is, it's going to turn into an argument. But I have the choice of asking myself, like, is it even worth continuing? Like, is it worth trying to prove a point to him? Is it worth telling him how I feel about it? If it's that serious, of course, yes, I do want to let you know how I feel about it. But sometimes it's petty, like, it's...
But realistically speaking, for people who are not to that level, they can't, because arguments happen so quick. So you cannot think everything in your mind to choose
if it's preventable
or not. They just go with the flow. It's the heat of the moment. Most people react off of emotions. That's why we tell them to write before you react on your emotions. So for a person who's not up to that level, how can they cope with choosing their battles?
Well, it is a heat of the, like, in the moment, but you should know your spouse. Like, you should know when they're about to spaz out, when they're getting upset about something. If they're already upset about something, you should know that you're triggering something. So you knowing that, you can either continue that conversation, continue whatever it is that you want to address with them, or you could just take a step back and say, hey, it's not even, if he's upset about this, he's gonna take it somewhere else. I'm just gonna let that go, because it's not that serious.
It ain't that serious.
Like, you can be like, just instantly, you guys just have a disagreement. Something goes on, you guys have a disagreement. You still have time you had signals leading up to that disagreement and that heat coming from each other. So now you still have time to say, all right, even if you start, you have time to say, all right, let me just shut up now. That's it.
But that's the problem with most people. They want to feel in control of the situation and prove their point. Yeah. And at the end of the day, question is proving your point that important than your relationship? Is proving your point that more important than having peace of mind, peace of a relationship? You know what I mean? Or the moment. Because a lot of people want to just prove their point. It's not principles, you know what I mean? Everything is not based off principles. I was told principle comes from the word prince, and what's connected to the word prince is a king. What do kings do? They start wars. They end wars. They want to be in order. So that forms chaos. So like you said earlier today when we had the discussion about buying the headphones, and you want to buy a cheap one, and I'm saying, why don't you stick with your iPhone headphones, because you're not going to get a better headphones than the iPhone headphones. If you're not buying the Bose, if you're not buying Beats headphones, it ain't going to be the same, all because of the wire, you know what I mean? So, but you chose...
Yeah, I chose to just, like, understand what you were coming from and not go deep into it, because at the end of the day, if I want to go buy the headphone, I'm going to go buy the headphone. I'm not going to sit here and prove a point about why I want wireless headphones to work out. What? So it's always like, is it worth it? I'm not saying, like, if this is something that you feel strongly about, let them walk over you. No, that's not the case. What I'm saying is it that serious? Like, I don't like this dinner. Can't you cook something? Like, if it's petty, like, just let it go. It's not that serious.
But at the end of the day, it's pride. A lot of people have pride. Pride is something that we all have to sit on at times. Once you have that pride within yourself, trust me, that pride is going to take you to places that you not going to be able to take yourself out. I'm a walking testimony. I've been there. So, not in relationships with my wife, but in life in general, I'm a Taurus, stubborn. So, sit on your pride as well, especially for your significant one, because you love that person. So why should you try to ram heads to prove a point with your significant one. It makes no sense to me. Not at all.
I feel like sometimes also arguments can escalate because you're holding on to an emotion from something that happened in the past, even with your spouse, or maybe it was with an ex, like some sort of experience, or maybe you're just holding on to a grudge or something that happened during the day. So now you're just in a shitty mood, and here comes your spouse, you guys are talking about something, have a disagreement, and it turns into an argument. Like we need to just give it thought. Like, you're obviously with this person because you love them and you care. So care enough to think before you speak and indulge. Definitely. Like, don't bring so much heat and negative experience, because like in a day or two you guys are gonna make up. You're going to feel bad about something you said. Day. Yeah, so it's like, is it even worth it? You could spend that time loving them more, having a better memory to think about. So, just, you want to choose your battle.
And especially people that want to argue. Because there's people out there that want to argue in their relationships. I was told that, especially from a female, I was told that she likes it when her man is mad because there's a certain vein that's in his head that pops out when he screams or when he argues. So it's like, damn, that turns you on. So imagine what she wants to do all the time when she's in the heat of the moment, because she likes that. And that's just an example. There's people out there that's doing more things that can trigger a person to cause an argument. Guys,
you're talking about your guy friend.
Yeah, dudes in the barbershop. Dudes will start trouble to go out with the fellas at night. You know what I mean? Start an argument in the crib so they can go out. Bruh, if you have to do that in a relationship, you should not be in a relationship at all. I'm not going to start an argument with my wife so I can go out.
So you can storm out and then use that as the excuse, like, I'm leaving because I'm upset. But really, you just want to hang out with the guys.
All you want to do is hang out with the guys. If she doesn't want you to hang out with the guys,
that's a whole different stuff.
You in a different situation, buddy. I'm sorry. Like, bro, that's not the one you need to be with. So those people, like, choose your battles. Don't start no arguments because it's pointless. If you want to go out, go out. You know what I mean? Arguments is not nothing. Some people say you have to argue in a relationship. That's gonna spicing up your relationship, bro. You can
bring you closer.
Bring you closer. You can do a whole bunch of things besides arguing to spice up your relationship. First of all, like that's nothing. So I don't understand what y'all talking about when it comes to that.
Especially like, because if you argue with someone, if you're one of those people that feel okay, arguing spices up the relationship or gets our point across. If you really feel that way, then at the end of your argument, have a solution or a common ground. Like, don't just argue to get upset with each other and threaten your relationship, threaten your marriage after the argument, because it's not gonna work. Like, you're not getting your
childish.
Point across.
That's childish. It's over.
So,
I'm mad at you. It's over. Then in a couple of minutes when you patch up, it's not over. That's like that's like junior high school.
You're not actually getting your point across and coming to an understanding. Like, I highly doubt that he and I can have an argument and he's going to force his belief on me just because he's getting loud, just because he's getting angry, just because the vein in his neck is popping out. No, that's not how it works.
I seen somebody post on Facebook yesterday. She said, if a person is mad at you because you guys disagree, they need to eat a lot of fruits. It was funny as hell to me, because it's like people get mad at you because you don't agree with their statement or their belief. We are all different people in the world. We are all walks of life. We are not going to agree on everything that we think and do. We as a couple, we're not going to agree on everything. That's just not life.
You do the agree to disagree.
Perfect.
Like, it's just, you don't agree with it. It's not that serious. I don't have to argue with you about it. Fine. You keep your mouth shut. It took, like, no lie for me. We're both very strong individuals. Like, our character is very strong, and I feel like it took both of us, but I know from my personal experience, because I'm speaking for myself, it took me a while to know in certain circumstances, like, just to know and tell myself, all right, Rhea, just, it's not even worth it. Just,
and it's not like,
really not.
It's not like you soft.
Yeah, I'm not.
You know
it's not like I'm like, I'm the
it's
softie. Let him walk over me. Let him do what he wants. There's been times when I don't feel like I want that negativity. I don't want to argue with him. I don't want to prove my point, because at the end of the day, my point is my point. It's not threatening us, our family, our relationship. So why should I force my point on him? It's not that serious. So I let it go. It took me a while, but now I can easily just turn that switch off, and I know if he's getting upset or if he's not liking something, I'll just leave that alone. But the energy too, the energy that it takes
to argue.
Yeah,
that's crazy, because I was taught as a child, it takes more energy, literally and physically, more energy to be negative than positive. So for you to choose to want to argue, to want to conduct negative energy, you're draining a whole bunch of yourself to please yourself at the same time. So it's
and you're really not even going to be pleased at the end, because chances are you're going to get really upset, emotions, you may cry, you may start throwing stuff, you're just going to feel anger. So really, you're not even pleasing yourself. You're just making that negative energy and turning it worse. Like, it's not even, it's going to probably take you a while to calm down, because this person got you riled up.
You have no idea where this argument could escalate to. No idea.
Definitely.
It could be in some sort of domestic violence. It could be in a breakup.
Yeah, for something petty.
Something that's petty, and something that you choose to enhance because of your feelings, your pleasure, because it turns you on. You know what I mean? So pick your battles. Choose on what you feel that you're supposed to stand your ground for, but in the correct manner, not in a way that you have to scream at each other. There's no need for screaming. That's why we said put it in writing, because once you put it in writing, everything will be smooth sailing. Then once you have the understanding within each other, reading that book, then you can have the understanding of going with the flow and verbally speak about what you guys had spoke about within that book.
And for, like, I know a lot of people hold on to things of the past, like things that your partner may have done to you in the past, or even things from the past that you experienced with an ex. You need to don't bring that into the present moment. Like, don't bring up something to your spouse that you've obviously, if you're still with them, you've agreed to move on from it. Don't indulge into an argument based on you bringing stuff from the past. Like, you did something to me, you did this before. Like, don't do it. Like, you're in the present moment. Like, right. If he did something to me now, I'm not gonna say you did the same thing to me 2-3 months ago. Why? Obviously we got over that 2-3 months ago. And if it's something that your ex has done, don't compare them to your partner now. Like, don't indulge in that argument, and your reasoning for it is because you experienced this in the past with your ex. This is not your ex. This is your new partner. So
a lot of people take that past energy and bring it to their future, and that's not going to get you nowhere. You have to leave the past in the past.
Try to justify right now what's going on now because of what you experienced in the past. So yeah, we basically just choose your battles. If it's not worth arguing about, just choose your battle. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you a punk. It doesn't make you a pushover. Like, those words should not come into mind when you're dealing with your partner, your spouse. Like, this is a marriage. Like, you guys are one. So it's not about, like, I'm a punk because I'm letting him be right and I'm just allowing him. No, you're entitled to your opinion. You're allowed that. You don't have to prove it to them, at least not in an argumentative way. So just choose whether or not you need to indulge in it. So as we said before, let us know if you guys have any questions, or maybe you have something you want to add to it.
So don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to comment below. Once again, I'm Nevo Lape. This is my wife,
Rhea.
And we will see you in the next video. Peace.